There's a lot of emphasis on happiness in my culture. Being personally happy is a high priority for most of the people I know, and the highest for a few of them. There are those who say that being happy is a choice, and one that people can and should make. The right to pursue happiness is ingrained in the founding documents of my country, so reverence for it has a great deal of precedent. But much of the time, I reject that choice and abdicate the pursuit of personal happiness. If one can choose to be happy in a way that isn't influenced by external factors, then it is simply a switch to be turned on and off. I personally see a danger in wanting that switch to be on as much as possible. I would be happier if I stuck my head in a proverbial hole and stopped paying attention to all the horrible things in the world over which other people worry. But I'd rather expose myself to unpleasant truths than to be ruled by a desire to maximize my happiness at all times. I would rather be useful, needed, and correct than happy if I have to make a choice between the four. Of course, they are not mutually exclusive in every case, but when they are, the first three are all higher priorities to me than the last. I would rather be useful because serving others is more important than serving myself and my own ego. I do not always find happiness in service, so that choice is sometimes harder for me than for those who get genuine joy from giving. Some would call this attitude a personal failing, and perhaps this part of my nature is. But I expect that I make more of a positive impact on the world than I would if I chose happiness over service. I would rather be needed because this proves to me that the choices that I make to serve are valuable. After all, what good is doing things for others that don't actually benefit them? So knowing what is needed is more important to me than being happy with that knowledge. I would rather be correct, especially in this regard, because it is better in my mind to know and express the truth about others in the world and to act on it than to be blissfully ignorant of them and to leave important things unsaid and undone. Being correct for me is also a matter of being willing to receive correction. Constructive criticism doesn't always make me happy, but most of the time I suspect it is better for me in the end, since it can help me to be more useful, needed, and correct. But how do I reject an attachment to happiness in an environment where it is expected of and by the people around me? The first way I have found is to accept the value others place on being happy and to help them try to achieve that goal even if I don't share it. Another is to be polite and responsive in expressing and pursuing my own goals, which, since they are often intended to benefit others, would cease to be helpful if I were rude and overbearing in them. Finally, I seek to remain grateful and express that gratitude for what I have and what others give me. When something done for me does make me genuinely happy, I do not seek to deny it. When someone makes me unhappy, I try to express thanks for the thought, even if the gift was not properly tailored to my particular desires. So, in the end, I don't so much reject happiness in myself, or even the pursuit of happiness in others. Happiness has its place, but that place isn't the highest expression of value for me. What I do reject is the overemphasis in my culture on being happy. There are simply more important things in the world.